Season 21 of Apex Legends has arrived. It's been here for about 2 or 3 days now, and we can finally, after plenty of hours in the game, determine where Legends stack up in the ranked playlist. We've had enough time, we've made our decisions. It's time to reveal what we believe is the best ranked tier list you will find out there. We are ranking every single legend in Apex Legends in regards to ranked viability. So this is not for comp, this is not for ALGS. Don't call Imperial Hal and TSM and tell them to follow my list. This is more so for ranked, for what you and I are going to be doing on a regular basis. This is how we can gain the most RP, and I'm going to start from the very bottom at F tier and make our way all the way up to the top. Every legend in order. Let's start right now. We will reveal each tier at the same time, so starting in F tier, we only have 2 legends, and yes, it's the same that I had last season, Ballistic and Seer. Now look, Seer at one time was busted, we all know this. Ballistic at one time was not a legend, and he honestly might have been better then than he is now. Now both have received some buffs, Ballistic especially with his perks, but neither of them really make a big impact in the game at the moment. Other characters just do their job better. Every scan character is better than Seer, and pretty much every offensive or assault character is better than Ballistic right now. A great main of these legends, of course, can do great things, but you could do better things with other legends. Seer and Ballistic, unfortunately, they remain in F tier for at least this season until we see some more meaningful buffs or perhaps a meta change that swings things in their favor. We've got a big chunk of legends in C tier. These are all legends that are good at something, certainly, but probably not as good as other characters in their same category or limit you in one way or another. And these legends are Ashe, Crypto, Rampart, Octane, Mirage, and Vantage. Ashe is now able to throw her tactical arc snare with her left hand, which means she can still do things like heal and shoot, which is pretty good, but it doesn't really raise her very much up as far as the rest of the legends go. It doesn't help her pass anybody. Her perks are all right. Her passive's not super useful, just kind of scanning death boxes to figure out where people are. Other legends do that with people beacons, and that gives you Evo shields, so the passives just aren't really that great. Crypto, he suffers from the same thing he always does. In a ranked setting, it's just not very convenient to be on your drone. Your teammates really need you holding your gun and able to help them, able to push with them. And too often, Crypto players get stuck in their drone, they're too far away from the fight, or they're EMPing themselves while they try and EMP others, and it just leads to a kind of a mess. Rampart, she's pretty good for holding down an area, I can't lie. If you wanted to use her in ALGS and Pro League, she's probably one of the best for holding down an area early, but in ranked, you need to get kills and then go rotate. And Rampart is really just better in a mostly defensive setting. Sheila is awesome. The amped reload speed boost is pretty cool, but she's just kind of the worst of all of the defensive legends in a ranked format where you need to be moving around more, getting more kills, and rotating into zone late, not jumping in really early like ALGS. Octane, he's fun, he's fast. That's about it, unfortunately. Mirage might be the one that I'm ranking a little bit too low because he does have some neat tricks. He does have the ability to get his ultimate every 30 seconds with one of his perks. Every time you bamboozle someone, it counts as an assist, so which is nice for kind of gaming the KP system. And he is a support character, so that means you can craft banners if you use him, and he revives people while invisible. So all of this is pretty nice, but I'm not sure if he offers as much as some other legends. He's probably one of the legends that I'm underrating the most, but I've got him at C tier for the moment. And then finally, we have Vantage. Good recon character. Her problem, she's just so big. Every time I'm fighting a Vantage, I almost always call it out as a Caustic first because she's got a huge hitbox and she isn't fortified. So that's always going to hold her back until they give her some sort of amazing movement buff or give her, a smaller jacket so she doesn't look like Caustic. Otherwise, I think she's stuck here in C tier. B tier is up next. I would say these are the most in the middle legends in the entire scene. That's why they're in B tier. And these legends are Loba, Fuse, Catalyst, Gibby, Wraith, and Valkyrie. All of these legends are good, but none of them really do anything that stand out that are amazing like some of the legends above them. Loba is one of the only support characters with movement, and while that's useful, everything else about her just really involves getting loot, and in really loot-dense maps like the New Broken Moon, that's kind of a little bit of a nerf to Loba. You don't really need her to find great loot anymore. Fuse, excellent legend for assault. Really, really good at one thing, which is blowing stuff up and initiating fights. Otherwise, not that great. You can hold a building with him with those explosives as well, but you need a lot of grenades to make his passive useful. He's great in the hands of an amazing player, but overall, just in the hands of an average player, he's about an average character. Catalyst moves up a little bit. She is now in B tier. I did have her lower last season, but she got some nice buffs, including the ability to now reconstruct doors that have previously been broken. This is a big buff to her passive where she can reinforce doors. Now, whenever there's doors that are broken, that used to be the way to kind of counteract her. Now she can rebuild those doors so doors are able to be opened and closed by your team only, and they're 4 kicks to break again. This is good. It brings her up to B tier, but I don't think she's quite as good as she was when she was running the ALGS meta. She's not really necessary. Her catalyst spikes, you can still only throw a few of them. There's a nerf to the total amount you can throw, and the catalyst wall isn't up for as long as it used to be. It's not as far reaching as it used to be. So Catalyst, solidly B tier. Gibby, also B tier. He's such an interesting case, Gibraltar is, because this man didn't receive a real nerf, but the meta just kind of passed him by. We moved on from shotguns. We moved on to SMGs. And unless you can really force a shotgun fight with Gibby, he's just a big character that doesn't really excel at that much. He's got a shield, but the bubble shield arguably isn't even as good as Newcastle's. He's a big guy in a non-shotgun meta. So because of that, he's going to stay in B tier. He's nice, of course, another support legend. Support legends are really nice to have in a ranked lobby, but he's just not super duper important. He's B tier. Wraith, very similar to some other legends. In the hands of a great player, Wraith is outstanding. But there are just kind of better versions of Wraith now, especially with Alter. It's a little bit different, but kind of better. She's great for individually very talented players. The phase is always nice. She's a great initiator. You could put your best player on Wraith and send them in to go start the fight and probably do fairly well, but she doesn't do anything that's just amazing, so that's why she's in B tier. Valkyrie, arguably the only legend that does do something amazing. She does have one of the only abilities in the game that is like an evac tower with that skyward dive. She can go very, very, very high up. She is very, very talented in regards to getting your team from point A to point B safely, but unless you're really utilizing Valkyrie for that skyward dive, is she the best character? I don't think so. You don't really need that in ranked. You're usually not getting stuck behind a bunch of teams rotating, not like ALGS. You can usually make your way around by just evac towers, zip rails, whatever else you need to do. You don't really need that character. So that's why she's in B tier. She's great with her jetpacks, but not really super thrilling. That's my B tier. All solidly good legends, but nothing outstanding about any of them. Up next is our A tier. This is the biggest tier I have so far, just one legend larger than B and C tier, and this is where we'll get to see our newest legend, Alter. So kicking it off is Alter, followed by Pathfinder, Wattson, Mad Maggie, Newcastle, Horizon, and Lifeline. Starting with Alter, I think that we are just scratching the surface as to what Alter can be. I don't have her in my top 5 in S tier, but I do believe that she is very, very strong and is only going to get stronger as we learn more about how to use her tactical, how it interacts with different surfaces and roofs and floors and all that type of stuff. I've even seen people on day 1 portal kidnapping people off of doors. They're going underneath enemy teams and kidnapping them through the floor and shooting them afterwards. It's pretty amazing. I think this legend is only limited by people's creativity. The user can really make or break Alter, and I think that she is going to be getting better as time goes on. We'll see if she remains in A tier, goes up to S tier, and we have no idea what levers the developers will pull. If she gets a nerf or a buff, we'll find out. But at the minimum, she's fun, and I think we're going to see a lot of people try and pick her up and make the most out of her, because I do believe that she's a blank canvas with a lot that you could add to this character. Pathfinder, he remains the legend with the best movement in the game. The grapple is simply unparalleled. Absolute best tactical in the game, in my opinion. Pathfinder, while he's the size of a fridge, he does have so many movement options, both for himself and for his team with the zipline. Now you can take less damage on that zipline with one of his perks. Overall, Pathfinder in the hands of a skilled player is outstanding. I couldn't believe that we saw him in ALGS over the weekend, but here we go. We did, and he actually is making moves in ALGS now. He remains a fantastic ranked legend. Go in there, slide in there, get your kills, move around. That's what Apex is all about, and Pathfinder does that better than anyone. Wattson is my second best defensive legend. I do believe that she is able to hold down an area just as good as Caustic. She just lacks the offensive capability that Caustic has. but she is fantastic for helping a team reset, helping a team get to a building and hold it down. The fences are great for blocking off points of entry, and points of entry are not just doors anymore. They're also any wall or surface that an altar might come through. So the ability to fence an entire wall, get all the sections of the wall and the door with 2 Wattson nodes is pretty great. A Caustic trap you can only throw on the door, but the Wattson fence can get much more of the surface area of the room. I think that's going to be really useful. Of course, her Wattson gen is outstanding. Negates anything that's thrown at you, makes it purely a gunfight because no grenades, no ultimates are going to harm you. Overall, very good legend. There's a reason that they won an ALGS. In ranked, I don't know if she's the best at getting KP, but I do believe that if you have a Wattson on your team, you're going to secure quite a lot of wins, and that does matter in the highest levels. You need to be ensuring those wins to make sure you get those big point games in Diamond and above. So I do believe that Wattson is an A-tier legend. On the exact opposite side, we have the best breacher legend in the game, Mad Maggie. There is no one better at putting pressure on an enemy team than Mad Maggie. She's got that passive with fast shotgun speed, so she can really get up close and personal. She's got those 1 giant drills or 2 big drills that she can use to push people out of cover. And of course, she's got the Wrecking Ball to breach any building she wants, slide in there and take opponents down. She is one of the best offensive legends in the game, and this remains the case in Season 21. Newcastle is pretty interesting. Newcastle rises up in my tier list from last time around. His mobile shield deploys much faster than it used to, and his ultimate Newcastle wall got some really nice buffs where now when it's energized, it'll actually destroy grenades that are thrown at it from the front. So it's kind of like a miniature, not as effective Wattson for a little while. And that's pretty useful because usually when you're playing Newcastle, if you're throwing that wall down, that means you jumped to the aid of one of your teammates that desperately needed you. This is a big thing. Now you can protect yourself from grenades as well. You may not have to burn the ultimate wall and the mobile wall. You're going to be able to do one at a time. This ends up being very useful, and that's why I think Newcastle rises up in my estimation as far as ranked legends. He could be a great support legend, arguably one of the best support legends for ranked. When you know you're going to be fighting often, you're going to need that opportunity to reset, to get some revives. You know he's better than anyone else at getting revives on the squad, except for maybe Lifeline. We'll talk about it in a moment. This character, I do believe people are sleeping on him right now, and he's going to be a strong legend in ranked in Season 21. Horizon is here, and she is still Horizon. That ultimate is still a fight winner. Stack it up with some arc stars, and that thing will be absolutely devastating to any team you launch it at. She's a great legend with that enhanced air strafe movement. She is a great legend for an offensive type player. She's able to help wipe squads like no one else, and her tactical is still great for getting the high ground. While not as versatile as Altars, it's still great for getting your whole team up there quickly. You can pop a battery while you're in it. Horizon, overall, still very, very useful. Still an A-tier legend. And it's no wonder why you see lots of Horizons in ranked. That character can slay with the best of them. Finally, we have Lifeline. I might be underrating Lifeline a little bit here because Lifeline's ultimate is much, much, much stronger than people give it credit for. When they changed Lifeline's ultimate to a version that automatically gives you an Evo cache and a gold knockdown, that is actually much better than the previous version where they gave you a random care package weapon. While those care package weapons were strong, the Evo cache may be even stronger. The ability for Lifeline to immediately skip purple shield and go straight to red is huge for the amount of health that she's going to have, and that gold knockdown shield guarantee for Lifeline means that she is the best legend for getting quick resets. Third parties are not a problem. As long as your Lifeline is alive, you can get a hands-free revive with gold knockdown. That's huge. That's so big. Her health throat is pretty useful, I suppose, but really it all comes down to that gold shield res with hands-free abilities and a red shield on your Lifeline. This is a very survivable character now. The ability to get that red shield immediately and then couple that with a gold knockdown is a huge power step. I wouldn't even call it a power creep. It's a power step with my Lifeline. As soon as you get to that purple perk, she's outstanding, and she is our last member of A tier. Finally, we have S tier. This will probably surprise nobody because this is a very familiar list. We have Bangalore, Bloodhound, Revenant, Conduit, and Caustic. Yes, these are the same legends from last season. There may be some legends that fit in and out of A tier that maybe I'm underrating, but Bangalore is still one of the best all-around legends of the game. She's got a great smoke grenade launcher that helps her in a variety of situations. One of the most versatile abilities in the game. Her ultimate really versatile as well. You can use it both on defense and offense. Bloodhound, still the best scan legend. The Beast of the Hunt is no joke, especially when you pair it with a Bangalore. The Bangalore can shoot some smokes, and your Bloodhound can run around seeing everything, especially with no digi threats in the game. He is a nightmare to be dealt with if he's coupled with a Bangalore. Revenant, he's still Revenant. At some point, you're going to have to fight a red shield Revenant with his overshield and his ultimate. It's a 300 HP menace that gets a shield battery back every time he hits a knock. It's absurd. I can't believe that we have this much of a raid boss in rank, but we do. Revenant is an absolute raid boss. Conduit was Revenant's best friend. Not as much anymore, but Conduit is still fantastic for getting those quick support moments of healing people's shields. Helps people get back in the fight a little bit quicker. Being a support legend, she is able to craft banners, and anyone on the team can craft banners in case your team does go down, which again, very, very useful in ranked when you're getting 3rd, 4th, 5th partied. And she's got decent other abilities as well. Her passive speed boost helps her get closer to her teammates to help them out, and that ultimate is pretty nice as a zoning tool. So overall, still a very effective character, and Caustic remains Caustic. He got a little bit of a nerf to the amount of damage that his gas does, but still, there is no one to counter a Caustic other than another Caustic. He is great at locking down buildings. He is great at attacking other people's buildings with that Nox grenade. He remains a essentially uncounterable legend unless you're willing to run a Caustic against him, or like maybe a Crypto to EMP traps, but who's really doing that in ranked? These are the top 5 legends in the game. They were last season, and at least at the start of this season, season 21, they remain our top 5 for ranked. And there we have it. The season 21 ranked legend tier list is here. This is my final result. I've got the same top 5 as last season, but a lot of movers and shakers underneath that. We'll see if anything changes at the midway point of the season. We'll perhaps revisit this one, give it another go in about 6 weeks or so, depending on what legends are buffed, nerfed, what metas kind of shape and form naturally over these next few weeks. But this is my list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know where I got it totally wrong. Did I disrespect your main? I think I tried to put my biases for Loba aside, and then she ended up in B tier, so I think I did a pretty good job of putting bias away. But you guys let me know if I was dead wrong, if I was spot on. I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do consider subscribing. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video.